Hey screen printers, it's Ryan here with Ryonet. Let's face it, cleaning screens is messy, smelly, wasteful, and no one likes doing it. In this video, we'll show you how our new eco-conscious, printer-friendly Sgreen Supreme does more with less by cleaning both plastisol and solvent-based inks in a wet and dry environment. Let's start by using this on solvent-based ink. Now, there's a couple ways to use the sprayer. Obviously, you can use it in a fine spray like this. However, when atomizing in the fine spray, you get a little stinky. So what we recommend is using it in a stream and or just pouring it out of the bottle, just like this. So what you want to do to clean it is you always want to get as much ink residue out as possible with a spatula or ink knife or something like that. Then you take a disposable rag or a really dirty paper towel and you agitate up the ink like so. And you need a little bit more product with solvent because solvent is a little bit more aggressive ink. But you can see how well it breaks down this ink. So once the ink is agitated, we can then add just a little bit more product. And that product can be added on screen or it can be added through a spray nozzle. And then wipe it down. Get the rag wet so you're not using as much product. And it just does a great job of breaking down. This is probably the most aggressive ink, and it was already starting to dry on the screen, as you can see here. Just go to this clean side of the towel to get all the ink out of the screen mesh. Do a quick wipe down with a dry rag. Clean. Sgreen Supreme does a great job with solvent inks. Now, it is a pretty strong cleaner, as you can see. So if you're using it in a closed area, we do recommend some ventilation. Here we are on a plastisol screen, getting that nice and worked up there. Start with a dry or slightly dirty rag so you can see how well that's cleaning this plastisol. And this is a pretty gunked up screen. Okay, flip the screen over for the back side. Get a little bit on our rag like that. Just wipes on off. Residue test with a white rag. There we are. Stuff evaporates very quickly and cleans very, very well, leaving a very minimal residue or oil behind. Here's a real quick product tip when using it as a press wipe. Using the spray portion, use it as a stream, not a fine spray. That'll avoid the smell or needing of a ventilation system. Second, you can also just take the cap off altogether and then use it directly onto a rag. Use a wet rag, a dirty rag to agitate up the ink and do the majority of your cleaning. And then use a dry rag or a cloth. Natural fiber works the best to do your dry buff. So this is basically taking off the chemical and all the residue. So a real quick dry buff there. And that'll give you the best results using this as a press wipe. Here we are in a wet environment using Sgreen Supreme as an ink degradant. This works like any other eco-friendly ink degradant. Actually works a little bit better. We're simply going to be using a scrub brush, ink degradant, and water with a filtration system, of course, because you want to use this for your local disposable regulations as far as what you're putting down the drain. So we're going to get our scrub brush wet first, and then we're going to put a little bit of Sgreen Supreme into the scrub brush. Once again, we're using this in the stream form, and then we're going to spray a little bit on each of these screens, just a couple strokes there. You can also put it directly onto the screen, just a little dab like that. And you can see how well this ink just breaks down. So you're going to want to scrub thoroughly. If there's a little bit more residue at the bottom, you can just put a little bit more down there. Does an amazing job of breaking ink down in a wet environment. Once you get it all agitated up, simply rinse out with low pressure water. Here's another screen. This does a great job of breaking down the product. This one has a little bit more product on the back side of it. So do a little scrub down on the back side. Squirt that side off first. And then the inside. Do a quick residue test on a white rag here. Wow, looking good. When you're done using the product, rinse out your brush. All the ink comes out of that. Make sure it's labeled for future Sgreen Supreme use. Once again, to keep the product from atomizing in the air, all we need to do is use a heavy stream spray instead of the mist spray, and or just take the spray cap off altogether. Just put a little bit of product on the screen and or the scrub brush, and it will do a lot better job. So visit our website to give Sgreen Chemicals a try, and be on the lookout for new eco-conscious, printer-friendly products from Ryonet. Oh yeah, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome screen printing videos.